What's up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys because we're going to be taking a look at the Harpies. It's been a minute since I dropped the Harpie deck profile, um, because so much stuff has been going on. So, um, it's time to get back into the chambers. It's time to start, going back to making decks and testing and doing profiles and stuff like that. Um, the Harpies got some new, but we got some support. Not direct support, we got some indirect support, and I'm very, very happy for them to be here. I'm going to be talking about all the gist of it, and I'll be taking a look at specific cards as well, just to help add it out if, those are some things that you would like to see. Factor before I go any further, if you want to, the Dragunity Harpy setup with this card, yeah, it's real. It's real, and it has some things. If I can't get back to it, don't worry. I'll try to with Miradora. But we'll talk a little bit more about Miradora soon. So why don't we go ahead? Why don't we get into my deck profile? 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpie Lady. Then 2 copies of Oracle, 2 copies of Harpist, 1 Queen, 1 Dancer. Then 3 copies of Miradora, the Skywing of the Whirlwind, 1 copy of Avian, 1 copy of Thunderbird, and 1 copy of Barrier Statue of the Storm Wind. For these spells, 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 3 copies of Elegant Egoist, 2 copies of Harpy's Hunting Ground, 1 Harpy's Feather Rest, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Alluring Mirror Split, 2 Unexpected Die, and 2 copies of Forbidden Droplets. 3 copies of Harpie's Feather Storm, and 1 copy of Hysteric Party. That rounds out the main deck. For the extra deck, 2 copies of Cyber Slash Harpie Lady, 2 copies of Harpie Conductor, 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of Divine Arsenal, Double A Zeus Sky Thunder, 1 copy of Big Eye, 1 copy of Arsenal Falcon, 1 copy of Ice Beast Zero Fine, 1 copy of Lightning Chidori, 1 copy of Dagastone Emerald, 1 Barrel Sword Dragon, 1 Samoric, the Bird of Sovereignty, 1 Falagetti, the Fruitless Flower, and I'm using her OCG name, and then 1 copy of Union Carrier. So that is both the main and the extra deck. Now, let's get these pieces together. The Harpies have a great amount of things going for them. That is special summon, being able to link, being able to exceed, and by God, now we even have our own synchro, and she is amazing. She's really, really amazing. Um, let's just get it out the way. The builds of Harpies can be very scarce. It is up to you on how you want to build. I know, genius. I just go with my flow. And I was really feeling that flow, pun intended, when it came to, some plays with Unexpected Die and Harpy Lady. It only wasn't until about towards the end of October, because I was ready to do the video and everything, and then Miradora came out. And I was like, oh wow, I have to start playing around with this. And I did. And I do enjoy this card. I have a lot of positive things to say about it because I think this is honestly a great hand trap to include in Harpies, because it's wind. It's not going to really hurt you with some additional cards. You just have a lot of things you can easily play off of this and play using this. One of its biggest key factors is, of course, Channeler, because she'll become 7 while you control a dragon. This is a level 7 dragon. You see where I'm going with this. You can have a lot of advantages and a lot of crazy things going. Um, I honestly do have. I love this monster. This monster is going to be great, but I do know when it comes to TCG, it's either going to A, be very, very expensive because it's going to be a very, very high up rarity. Then it's also going to unfortunately be, what was it? It could potentially not even come in Blazing Vortex. It could be somewhere else, which is unfortunate as well. Um, yeah, it's so many positive things about this because its effects can be negated. It's a high level dragon and it works well with Channeler. You can get into your high ranked exceeds like Big Eye and Arsenal, who I am running. Big Eye to take control of stuff. You have Arsenal to summon your other winged beast from your deck that are level 4 or lower, and trust me, you got a lot of those in the deck. So if you haven't used Harpie Channeler, say you know, Hysteric Party, and you got Channeler, and then you can trigger off your Miradora to respond to stuff. Bam, 7. Or get a Harpie like Perfumer. She'll have her ability to trigger because Chandler is now level 7, so you get that double search. You have Oracle who can summon because she's now 7. She gets her in phase retreat. Bam! You got Harpie's Feather S, which is double draw. Because you'll control the level 5 or higher monster. Also, remember, you're recovering cards with this, your Harpie Lady or Sisters in your grave with this, so you get that bonus as well. And it's just still so many beneficial things about this. Awesome timing, Miradora. We've already talked about, the commander in chief. Let's talk about the second in command just a little more. Perfumer is really here because she searches for spells and traps, specifically as Harpie Lady Sisters in his text from your deck to your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And since I'm running multiples, that's at least 7 targets. You get your double with that, level 5 or higher. A, B. And like I said, with her and Oracle, a lot of big fluctuations with their secondary effects. Well, her secondary effect, her special summon effect, which is still really, really amazing. And that is to, special summon when you have a level 5 or higher Harpie, you can in-phase search, retreat from the grave, your spell or trap with Harpie Lady Sisters in this text. So on your opponent's turn, you can drop her, do something like Hysteric Party, and then bam, there's your search. Or say for instance you popped Alluring Mirror Split, or it got popped, you can special summon her and get a search there, a retrieval there. Harpie Lady 1, I've said this, I'll say it now, there's so many different variation things you can do with a Harpie Lady, whether it's the vanilla with a lot of the normal monster support. Harpie Lady 1, that's the 300 additional attack, and then Cyber Harpie, who just is the beat stick of the Harpie Lady. She's your Telekinesis target, she's your Unaffected Die target, she's your Digusto normal monster summon target. And with all of that together, like I said, the swarm factor of Harpies is still very, very viable with a lot of the support that helps. And that's also why I'm only running the 2 Unexpected Die. I didn't want to run a third because, of course, we still have our Elegant Egotists to play around with. Then we've already talked about the Oracle. Harpies is your other search, and she has her targets from Oracle. She has her targets for Channeler. She has her targets for Humor. And in some occasions, you can get Harpie Dancer. But primary or Barrier Statue, and that's literally because of her ability. Her other ability, of course, is the Bounce Back, and that's really just a trigger for Harpie Conductor and her bounce. Just the one of Queen and the one of Dancer, there really isn't a need for running multiples of them. If you want to run multiple Queen, that's up to you. I just wouldn't advise it with the Dancer because Dancer is kind of not as good as she used to be, unfortunately. And that really sucks because Dancer used to be really, really good, but that was only in when we didn't have a lot of back row removal, there wasn't really much of a scarce stand. And you get my picture. Alright, moving on. We got Apex, Avian, Thunderbird, and, the Avian Thunderbird loop, which is, of course, you're in phase of some more Bird of Sovereignty, you get Apex Avian. Then, if Union Carrier hit the board before then, you attach the Thunderbird to the Samorg, and then Samorg will summon Avian. Avian will have its Miss Valley target to bounce. Thunderbird is going to be coming back and forth to negate a lot of things. To help in the correlation of negating things with Miss Valley Apex Avian. Which is still one of my favorite loops and one of the loops Harpies can get into. And it's been a long time since Harpies been able to loop stuff. Then, there's the Barrier Statue, which of course helped with just the massive summon of only wind monsters. Since I've already fluctuated out a good portion of the spell cards, Hysteric Sign is your massive search for a lot of your Harpie cards. During the end phase of the turn, it's either sent from your hand or field to the graveyard. Do not use this with Double A Zeus because this will not trigger if it's the material. Even though Zeus can pull it from the deck and put it onto itself as material, you want this card in your hand or on your field. You do not want this attached to material because just like Sangan, it will not be able to trigger its effect when it's sunk to the grave. It will just be there. You can get elegant to get this off of this. You can get your Harpie cards. And we have a variety of now because we have spells, we have traps, and we have all the monsters. Now, moving on from there. Harpies hunting ground, back row removal, additional 200 attack. Something that you don't really need in multiples. You can run the 2. You can probably get away with the 1. Feather Duster, it's nice to have you back. Hit that back row and get it rid of. I'm running the recovery of Harpie Feathergrass. I'm only running 1 because I honestly, like I said, I got Perfumer, I got Oracle, and I got Sign to help me with that. The Alluring Mirror Split is just more so of a card to pop. You don't have to really run this, but I'm running it just for the fashion of Perfumer having some additional targets and just having some fun around with popping it with Hunting Ground, popping it with Conductor, and then just going from there. Then the only other card to talk about in terms of spells is Forbidden Droplets. You can send any number of cards from your hand or field to the grave. You stop that many monsters on your opponent's side of field's effects, and then negate. Yeah, you can negate their effects. They can't activate effects of cards that are the same type as the cards you send. So you got your defense there because you can send a spell, you can send a monster. A little bit on the traps. But hey, if you want to risk it all. Probably mainly in the extra deck if you do that. We already talked about Unexpected Die and Ego. Ego primarily just here to get Harpie Lady, just like Unexpected Die. And then we're going to move on from there. We got our Feather Storm, negating our opponent's activation of our opponent's monster effects. And then, when it's destroyed while in the spell or trap card zone by your opponent, go get your Feather Duster. Nice to finally have access to all those abilities. And Hysteric Party is our massive summon. This is our, push to win scenario card for those last ditch efforts, and it does its job and does it well. All we really need at this point is just a monster or a way to search out for her hysteric cards. I think that's all we really want. That and a Harpie Lady Sisters card. At least a retrain for. Cyber / Harpie Lady, Harpie Conductor, those are our great extra deck supports. Our first quick effect, our first synchro, our first high level Harpie Lady. You can use a Harpie Lady as a tuner to help summon this card. So get you some 2 level 4s. One of them needs to be a Harpie, and in that, or you can just get you a tuner and a non-tuner. And she has the quick effect to bounce the card on the field. A monster on your opponent's side field or a Harpie you control. So if you do happen to have Conductor, that will trigger her ability. Conductor's ability to remove cards is great because it's not destruction, and she has her defensive effects similar to Phantasmal, except this is more so a wide range. Phantasmal just stops targets. Speaking of Phantasmal, it is here. It's a one of. You don't have to run it. I'm running it. You can, it's up to you, like I said. And I do like the fact that it's got that 2000 poke attached to it. We talked about Double A Zeus, but this is just another massive board wipe. You can easily take advantage of this card, put it on top of an Exceed monster when it battles, and that at least I think gives you the replay to swing with it as well. So just some fun there. We talked about these two. Zero Fine is your massive negate. You got another removal with Chidori. You got a Pot of Avarice and a normal monster special summon off of Emerald. Pick your poison because they're only once per turn. Got a big beat stick and barrel sword, still a really optimal extra deck monster. We talked about Union Carrier and we talked about Sovereignty with their abilities, which are great for the loop. But if outside the loop, some more can get you any of your Harpies, put them onto the board or your barrier statue, and Union Carrier can attach someone. And you can easily attach Harpies if you're feeling a little, want to change it up a bit, and then trigger her ability. Falligating the Fruitless Flowers, just an extend your reach, because you're going to get a Harpie onto the field. She's a winged beast. Drop your Sovereignty, and go from there. The only few cards that I have some time to talk about. If you want to play around with your barrier statue, you got the Ties of the Brethren to put it on the board and as a Harpie, because they aren't technically Harpie Lady until they hit the grave or on the field. Swallow's Nest to swap out one Harpie for another to duck and dodge a lot of things. Because I know a lot of players tend to love these two cards as some support. And you're only really running Tempest if you're really, really feeling it to want to go into Mirador. Because I think the search is really great. Other than that, I'm still on the board with Tempest. But that rounds up the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and do all that other stuff. And I'll catch you guys next time.